Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and today is D-Day and I have to pack the car up and take it down to the engineer. So the last few days have been really hectic. I have been flat out going over this car, just sorting out the last bits and pieces, getting it ready to go for the engineer today. It's amazing how much work I can get done when I don't film it, but all this stuff off camera over the weekend has really got a fair bit done, so I'll take you through some of the things that I've done right now. So the mirrors on the front guards in Australia are not legal because they are potentially a catch point where if you hit somebody, they can get caught on the mirror. So I have made up a temporary mirror mount. Now I didn't want to screw into the door, so what I've done is I made thankfully there's nice big panel gaps here. There is a chip on my guard which I'm going to have to touch up. There's lots of touch-ups to do on this car, but that was not actually caused by this. I did that earlier. I'm just that clumsy. But this I've just screwed into the holes for the rubber piece that goes in here, and there's a rubber mounting and double-sided tape and foam underneath this so that it won't damage the body of the car, and that should keep the engineer happy. The main reason I didn't actually screw it into the door is because maybe somebody at some stage may take that mirror off and put the other mirrors on. But I don't know who would do that because that's illegal. Another thing one of you guys brought up that I'd forgotten about is I couldn't just temporarily put this section in the car because I need to make sure that the demisters work. That's a registration legal thing as well, that you have to have a working demister in the car. And as such, I've had to wire up the fan so that I don't actually have this switch. So if anybody has this switch and the associated wiring to go from this switch to the fan would be great. But I've set it up so that just on this little switch that was, I'm not sure, that was in there, somebody else had put something in there previously, I wired that up. So now that turns the fan on and the fan goes full blast. And I've also connected up all of these to the vent box in behind, so now I have working demisters. So a lot of my time was spent wiring. I've tidied up this wiring a fair bit. It's still not really pretty, but it's a lot prettier than it was if you remember it from previous episodes. I also now have reverse lights because I didn't have them before, and now they actually work. So as you can see, I have been quite busy there's just been lots of little bits and pieces, tons of them I can't even remember, but I have been working flat out on the last few days trying to get everything ready, and I think it is ready to go. So it's time to load it up and take it down to do the last thing I need to do before the engineer, and that is put it on the weighbridge and see exactly how much it weighs. Alright, so I managed to go in and get the car weighed, and now I'm actually here with the engineer out on this, it's actually a private road, and he is brake testing the car. Fingers crossed it all goes well. I could have gone in or gone out, but I decided to stay here and film, so we'll see how it goes, but fingers crossed it gets signed off. Yeah! not that common to see these guys even here in the middle of the day, so that's quite a treat. Well, that was an eventful afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, I was pretty wound up on the way home. Basically, what happened is I had to travel about an hour away to that the closed road where the engineer was testing, and basically on the way back, I had to come up Macquarie Pass. So locals will know it, but basically it's probably 50 to 100 switchbacks that just keep going. It's a fantastic road to drive in a nice car, but not when you've got a car and a car trailer, because there is nowhere to get off. It's quite a popular road, so there's lots of big trucks and stuff on a very narrow little tiny road, and the car was obviously bouncing around on the back of it as I was going through, and the luck was definitely on my side, because basically once I'd gotten out of that and up onto the main road again, I got up to about 100 kilometers an hour, and as I was approaching up to that speed, the tail started wagging the dog, which is, if any of you are familiar with that, basically it's where the trailer starts moving on its own and trying to go faster than the car. If any of you get in that situation, do not try and brake. You actually need to try and accelerate and try and smooth the trailer out and then slow down, which is what I did. And I thought it was quite strange because this trailer normally tows quite well. Well, I got out of the car on the side of the road in the dark with like cars flying past at 110 kilometers an hour, and the car had come loose from all three of the straps that I've got strapping it down, and the back wheels were off the back of the trailer. And I cannot believe the car did not fall off the trailer. The back wheels were still touching. It wasn't all the way off, but the wheels were definitely down and lower. And because the car was lower, the doors wouldn't open because they were hitting the rails. So yeah, I managed to sort of open it up enough to wind the window down, climb through the windscreen and get in and drive the car back onto the trailer again, and I got home without losing the car. I cannot believe the car stayed on the trailer. My heart was pumping. It was it was quite nerve-wracking, but in any case, the car's home, it's safe, and it passed. The engineer is happy with it, and that means that there's still a little time before I can actually drive it, because he's got to write his report up. So I'm about number 9 on his current list. So I think it's about 2 weeks until I'll actually be able to get this car registered and driving, which means, as far as I'm concerned, I've done enough on this for the time being. I'm going to leave it, and I might do a little bit more work on my booth and finish that off, and then we can finally start on the Alpha. Oh, I almost forgot. A lot of you want to know what the weight is. I went down to the weighbridge, and unfortunately I was going to have a guessing game with the weight of the car, but that's not really going to work, because the weighbridge unfortunately only weighed in 20 kilo increments. It's an 80-ton weighbridge, so it doesn't get down to 1 kilo increments, which would have been quite fun to do it. But it was 1,060 kilos, plus or minus 10 kilos. So not too bad. All right, guys. Well, as always, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram for little updates. You get little hints as I'm going, and the news breaks on Instagram first. And if you want to help us out, Patreon really helps us, and you get to watch the videos a day early. So anyway, that's it. I'll see you next time. See you guys.